Thank you, Chair, and thanks very much. Mr. Harrott, as you've outlined, obviously the focus is a response to COVID-19. Can I ask about how many individuals you expect to be covered by the loan charge and how many settlements have been completed to date?
Yes, I'll let Penny Chinovich give you the details of that. But several thousand taxpayers do have until the 30th of September to reach a settlement with us, and if they do so, they will then not be liable to the loan charge. And then there are several thousand taxpayers who are not subject to that settlement opportunity and who will have to pay the loan charge on the 30th of September. But I'll let Penny give you the details.
Mr. Wilde? Sorry, Penny Chinovich.
Thank you. So of the originally estimated around 50,000 individuals affected by the loan charge, we currently estimate that around 11,000 were taken out of that by the December 19 changes following Sir Amias Morse's report, and around 1,000 employers were also removed. At the time of the review, we had around 12,000 customers who still had the opportunity to conclude a settlement with us. And most of those paused, understandably, while the review was underway. We've written to all of those people to give them the opportunity to engage with us again to settle, so they don't have to pay the loan charge. And around 2,000 of those have settled, or no longer need to settle, for example, because their loans were taken out of the scope of the loan charge. So we've got around 6,000 customers actively in the process of conversation with us, and may still settle with us. Another 3,700 or so customers remain then out of that 12,000 balance who are still able to settle. And a small number of those have asked us to pause, mainly due to COVID-related issues. And around 3,000 of those customers who were able to settle originally have not responded to our letters or have missed deadlines, and it may be tricky for them to settle before the 30th of September with us.
Mr. Wilde.
Okay, there are quite a lot of figures in there, but my rough calculation was there was about potentially 9,000 people who were required to settle by the end of this month. Is that correct?
That sounds about right. I haven't done the maths in reverse, but that sounds about right.
How credible is that? There's only 18 working days left in this month.
So, sorry, in terms of the people who could settle with us, I think what we're saying, if you're asking about the ones who could settle before the loan charge comes in, we think we have around 6,000 of those still in active settlement conversations with us. And we believe that if they continue to bring their evidence to us, and if we continue to work with them, that we have enough resource to settle those customers if they continue to engage with us.
And how are you ensuring that people are treated fairly in this process? Because the 30th of September is not very far away. I've had constituents having problems getting access to physical copies of inquiry notices, for example, because staff are working from home, so they can't get them. How are people being treated fairly?
So we work with customers very closely to understand what their particular issues are. We have obviously been communicating with customers for some time now to help them to settle if they wanted to, right the way back from January. And clearly some of those customers all of the customers who are eligible to settle were ones who had been in touch with us by April 2019 to say that was the case. We have a lot of staff available. We have around 1,000 staff in total working to help customers settle on the loan charge. And we will work with customers depending on their individual circumstances to do whatever we can. That's our real focus at the moment, to help customers who want to settle.
Well,
yeah, I mean, like many other MPs, I think we've had representations to extend this September deadline to January to allow people to have more time during a COVID situation, for them, obviously focusing on lots of other issues that might be affecting their business as well as HMRC. Does HMRC have the power to extend that deadline without further legislation?
The legislation sets out the 30th of September is the deadline, and we can't adjust that deadline on our own behalf, no.
Can I just ask, is that primary legislation required, or would a statutory instrument be needed to change that? or can it be changed? So does it have to be new primary legislation? Ms. Chinovitz.
So I believe it would be a statutory instrument, but I'm not the legislative expert. Sorry, on the loan charge.
Mr. Wild.
Yeah, the final one really. So you can assure the committee that the resources are there, the capacity is there from the HMRC side to ensure that people are treated properly and fairly. And it's not appropriate for me to raise individual cases in this committee, but I do have individuals whose cases I will be bringing to you to have a look at, because they are making representations to me that have not been treated fairly during this process.
Okay, well, we can take that. I'm sure you can take that offline with Mr. Harrow or Ms. Chinovitch.